Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 5, Book 59, number 420. Narrated by Anas. The Prophet said al-Qanat after bowing, i.e. ruku, for 1 month, invoking evil upon the tribes of Ril and Darqwan. He used to say, Usayr disobeyed Allah and his apostle. Volume 5, Book 59, number 421. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet invoked evil upon those people who killed his companions at Bir for 30 days, in the morning prayer. He invoked evil upon tribes of Ril, Lahian and Usayr who disobeyed Allah and his apostle. Allah revealed a Quranic verse to his prophet regarding those who had been killed, i.e. the Muslims killed at Bir, and we recited the verse till later it was cancelled. The verse was smiley face. Inform our people that we have met our Lord, and he is pleased with us, and we are pleased with him. Volume 5, Book 59, number 422. Narrated by Azam al-Awwal. I asked Anas bin Malik regarding al-Qanat during the prayer. Anas replied, yes, al-Qanat was said by the Prophet in the prayer. I said, is it before bowing or after bowing? Anas replied, it was said, before bowing. I said, so and so informed me that you told him that it was said after bowing. Anas replied, he was mistaken, for Allah's apostle said al-Qanat after bowing for 1 month. The Prophet had sent some people called al-Qurra who were 70 in number, to some pagan people who had concluded a peace treaty with Allah's apostle. But those who had concluded the treaty with Allah's apostle violated the treaty, and martyred all the 70 men. So Allah's apostle said al-Qanat after bowing, in the prayer, for 1 month, invoking evil upon them. Volume 5, Book 59, number 423. Narrated by Ibn Umar. That the Prophet inspected him on the day of Uhud while he was 14 years old, and the Prophet did not allow him to take part in the battle. He was inspected again by the Prophet on the day of al-Khandaq, i.e. Battle of the Trench, while he was 15 years old, and the Prophet allowed him to take part in the battle. Volume 5, Book 59, number 424. Narrated by Sa'al bin Sa'd. We were with Allah's apostle in the trench, and some were digging the trench while we were carrying the earth on our shoulders. Allah's apostle said, O Allah, there is no life except the life of the hereafter, so please forgive the emigrants and the Ansar. Volume 5, Book 59, number 425. Narrated by Anas. Allah's apostle went out towards the Khandaq, i.e. trench, and saw the emigrants and the Ansar digging the trench in the cold morning. They had no slaves to do that work for them. When the Prophet saw their hardship and hunger, he said, O Allah, the real life is the life of the hereafter, so please forgive Ansar and the emigrants. They said in reply to him, we are those who have given the pledge of allegiances to Muhammad for to observe jihad as long as we live. Volume 5, Book 59, number 426. Narrated by Anas. Al-Muhajirin, i.e. the emigrants, and the Ansar were digging the trench around Medina and were carrying the earth on their backs while saying, we are those who have given the pledge of allegiance to Muhammad for Islam as long as we live. The Prophet said in reply to their saying, O Allah, there is no goodness except the goodness of the hereafter. So please grant your blessing to the Ansar and the emigrants. The people used to bring a handful of barley, and a meal used to be prepared thereof by cooking it with a cooking material, i.e. oil, fat and butter having a change in color and smell, and it used to be presented to the people, i.e. workers, who were hungry, and it used to stick to their throats and had a nasty smell. Volume 5, Book 59, number 427. Narrated by Jabir. We were digging the trench on the day of Al-Kandak, i.e. trench, and we came across a big solid rock. We went to the Prophet and said, "Here is a rock appearing across the trench." He said, "I am coming down." Then he got up, and a stone was tied to his belly, for we had not eaten anything for 3 days. So the Prophet took the spade and struck the big solid rock, and it became like sand. I said, "O Allah's Apostle, allow me to go home." When the Prophet allowed me, I said to my wife, "I saw the Prophet in a state that I cannot treat lightly. Have you got something for him to eat?" She replied, "I have barley and a she-goat." So I slaughtered the she-kid and she ground the barley. Then we put the meat in the earthenware cooking pot. Then I came to the Prophet when the dough had become soft and fermented, and the meat in the pot over the stone trivet had nearly been well cooked, and said, "I have got a little food prepared. So get up, O Allah's Apostle, you and 1 or 2 men along with you, for the food." The Prophet asked, "How much is that food?" I told him about it. He said, "It is abundant and good. Tell your wife not to remove the earthenware pot from the fire and not to take out any bread from the oven till I reach there." Then he said to all his companions, "Get up." So the Muhajirin, i.e. emigrants, and the Ansar got up. When I came to my wife, I said, "Allah's mercy be upon you." The Prophet came along with the Muhajirin and the Ansar and those who were present with them. She said, "Did the Prophet ask you how much food you had?" I replied, "Yes." Then the Prophet said, "Enter and do not throng." The Prophet started cutting the bread into pieces and put the cooked meat over it. He covered the earthenware pot and the oven whenever he took something out of them. He would give the food to his companions and take the meat out of the pot. He went on cutting the bread and scooping the meat for his companions, till they all ate their fill, and even then, some food remained. Then the Prophet said to my wife, "Eat and present to others as the people are struck with hunger."